Hi everybody, I'm freezing. I am sitting on my property in West Virginia. It's funny because as a child I used to come up here after school. I had a quad and I would ride the quad up here to my property, which was my parents' property at the time. And sorry, I'm trying to move my hat around so you can see me. I would come here after school. I would bring a notebook and a pad and I would ride my quad. There's acres and acres of land up here that my grandfather owned and then passed it to my mother, and now my mother has passed it to us after she passed. I really didn't appreciate the value of spending time in nature, but I realized as a child I would do that anyway. I would literally come up here, park somewhere, there were always deer around, and I would just get off the quad, walk around, and whatever was bothering me I would write it down and journal about it. And then the funny thing is I would dig a hole and bury it, and I didn't realize at the time that I was actually naturally doing something to release what was bothering me as a teenager. As teenagers we go through such a learning and profound, weird, awkward stage, but for me, myself, I went through massive depression and couldn't express actually what I was depressed about or what was bothering me. So instead of trying to talk to someone about it, I would just come out here in nature and write about it, and it seemed to help me a lot in my process of growth. But I was just made a funny comment on Facebook, and it actually wasn't even my comment. It was something that a spiritual teacher or somewhere that I'd picked up along the line, because we all find little quotes and phrases that kind of stick with us time and time again. And the quote was, I'm sorry that I offended you, and if I have, please allow me to know how, so that I may do it over and over again in order for you to grow. And then I had a couple comments that were derogatory about making that statement, or however you want to say it. But I wanted to kind of explain why I said it. To me, each person as an individual has a perception of something, and sometimes it's a very assuming thing that they take offense to. Now, what we do is trigger things in each other so that we can grow. We mirror a lot of behaviors. Coming from a small town, you know, it was very unacceptable to say certain things or be different or allow someone to not take everything so personal. So for instance, if I would say to someone, I really like your shoes today, they may get offended by me saying it, but it's not because of the comment that I made, it's because of the way the person perceived the comment itself. Now that's a pretty basic way of saying it. On a larger scale, I could say something like, you know, I'm trying to think of a good example here. I could say something like, I really don't want to date you anymore because of the fact, blah, 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 whatever the verbal diarrhea is. So I might take that in offense, thinking my automatic programming and conditioning takes it to a different level, which is my own thoughts, perceptions, and what's wrong with me and how do I need to fix that. It's really about teaching me and mirroring me how to grow around the situation that's not really based on what the person is saying. It's based upon how I'm perceiving and taking the information. And if we are open to learning about ourselves as individuals and as a human race, then everything is not personal. It is only a perception of what someone else and their opinion is. So if you take someone else's opinion to heart and make it your reality, then it then becomes part of your reality. So in making the comment, it's not that I'm saying I know what makes you grow. I'm saying it's a concept of other teachers that nothing is personal and things are a reflection of your own process. Now I hope that makes sense, because I tried to make it as possible, but it's a very large scale, that whole statement. Now, for me personally, I just went through, you know, getting dumped, which I would say now is setting me free, because it was a relationship that didn't serve me, or him for that matter, and we both had these perceptions and took things personally and blah, 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 and whatever we all do to make things right in our head about the decisions that we made. So it was the way that I looked at the situation. Yes, he wanted to dump me. Fact. It's done. But was it really about me personally? Was it really to help me grow? Absolutely, it was to help me grow. And no, it didn't offend me. And I'll tell you why. Because I know Joanna McCoy. And I know what I'm about. Okay? I know that people have different perceptions of me, but that is not my reality. It is only their perceptions of me. Does it help me grow? Absolutely, it helps me grow because I can look at that person and assess, does that really fit me? If it does fit me, then I can pick it apart and understand why I was offended with that or what made it so for me. I don't call myself any spiritual guru or, I don't really like labels and all that crazy bullshit. I'm just trying to be a human being here that is a very spiritual person. And I'm trying to use my life as a learning tool for others. And that is what my mother and father taught me to do. So that is part of my conditioning. I was always, and they were, always open and honest with things that they would learn and share with others because that helped other people grow. And it was the way things were perceived. Here's an example. My father was a great businessman, lived in a small town, built nursing homes, built nursing agencies to help people here. People here made an assumption that he was trying to be holier than thou because he was trying to create something, and they judged him for creating things that made people have a job here. Now, that is a wider scale about a perception of someone. My father didn't try to harm anyone his entire life. He just wanted other people to succeed in life. And it was perceived in another way, other than what he was, which was really a dishonor to him as a human being. But he didn't stop doing what he wanted to do, which was helping people. But what he tried to do in this small town was taken in the wrong way. And I believe that was just really an injustice to someone who had wisdom and knowledge and just wanted to share it with others. And the way that it was perceived was in the wrong way. And I usually don't judge right or wrong. But I know, and I had known what my father's intentions were, and he really wanted to help people grow. That's where I come from. So, take it from me. I'm not trying to ruffle any feathers here with what my statement was. And it really wasn't my statement. It was a quote from someone else that just really resonated with me because we try to shift and change so that other people aren't offended by what we do. Well, you know what? People are going to be offended by you breathing the wrong way. But if you allow that to take your power away from what your real big, huge dream goal is, people are going to have perceptions. People are going to be uncomfortable with things you say. You may not agree. And you know what? It's okay because I accept that. Because it's not about me. Everything's just a reflection or a mirror. So, I am going to take a drive to the cemetery after walking my property and getting back to my roots. Getting grounded. It's very muddy and cold here. But I hope this clarifies the whole Facebook statement. And I hope this video helps you heal in some way. And if not, I love you anyway. Bye-bye.